How would you describe the last year as the leader of the Greens?
I think what we're seeing generally is that the kind of governing we need in these times of all of these crises, whether it's climate, weather-related event crises, or it's the ongoing pandemic, or as we're seeing, a flu surge right now, we need governments to get out in front of this. We need governments to be a lot more proactive. And what we've had from this government in particular is often waiting until things are really in an emergency and then responding. So whether that was the wildfires in 2021, the atmospheric river a year ago, and this year I would say a kind of just letting go of efforts to manage the pandemic.
We also had the BC NDP leadership race, and there were some accusations that the Greens were trying to take over the NDP, and some Green members were becoming members of the NDP so they could vote in the leadership race. I'm just wondering, what do you say to those accusations?
It's laughable. It's truly laughable. I mean, Adam and I have been working as a caucus to hold this government to account and to present a vision for British Columbia that we have. In a leadership race, in an election campaign, your job is to inspire people to want to join you. And when I was running a leadership race in 2020, I was encouraging NDP members to come and join our party, to get excited about what we were offering. That's how politics works in a democracy. Nobody owns anybody else's members or memberships or anything like that. We've seen a pretty significant bump in memberships and donations in the last couple of months as people, I think, come to terms with the NDP clearly isn't wanting to go in the direction of having a climate leader in the Premier's office, of having an equity-based approach to governing in this province, and what we're getting mostly is kind of a status quo. That the NDP have not only really not met their promises, but they have increased subsidies to oil and gas, they have increased oil and gas activity and infrastructure under their tenure. They have not kept their promise on ending the logging of old growth. They have not kept their promise on really being climate leaders.
Before we look at the year that was, I want to ask you about a possible snap election. Do you feel that that's something that could be coming?
I have had assurance from the Premier that there is no plan for a snap election, and I hope that he's true to his word. We have election legislation, fixed date legislation, but we're not going to be unprepared if that is the case. And so we have opened nominations for the BC Green candidates, and we are preparing for an election, hopefully in 2 years from now, but if it is happening sooner, we will be ready. I have no control over whether they throw an election or not, but what I think British Columbians need from this government is governing.
How does the Green Party attract those young people, all those people that were so interested in this BC NDP leadership race and trying to get behind this climate activist?
We need more BC Greens in the legislature. We have pushed this government on ending oil subsidies, on ending old growth logging. We've pushed this government on ending corporatization of healthcare. We've pushed this government on focusing on non-market housing as a solution to our housing crisis in BC. Two Greens have been the voices on these issues over and over again. With more Greens, we can have even more outcomes that are focused on people and a healthier future for this province.